If your garden soil looks decent but your harvest never matches your effort, this video will change how you grow forever. Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Evergreen Garden, share this with another gardener and leave a comment telling me what soil method you currently use, because today I'm breaking down the results of a real comparison I ran in my own beds. I tested 5 popular soil methods side by side, under the same weather, same crops, same watering, and one method completely dominated the rest in growth speed, root health and yield. I didn't test these soil methods in theory, I tested them where it matters, in the garden. Each method was used in identical raised beds growing tomatoes, leafy greens and peppers. The soil depth was the same, irrigation was the same, and planting dates were the same. The only difference was what the soil was made of and how it was managed over time. The first soil method was basic native garden soil with chemical fertilizer added. This is what many gardeners rely on, especially when starting out. I amended the soil with a standard NPK fertilizer at recommended rates and kept it well watered. The plants grew fast in the first 3 weeks with strong green leaves, but flowering was inconsistent and fruit set was weak. By mid-season, the soil compacted, water pooled on the surface and root growth slowed. Yields were average at best, and the soil clearly degraded as the season went on. The second soil method was compost-only soil, which many organic gardeners swear by. I used fully finished compost made from kitchen scraps, dry leaves and manure, applied at a depth of about 25 centimeters. Early growth was steady and balanced, with good leaf color and fewer pest issues. However, the plants began to stall once they reached flowering stage. The compost lacked enough long-term structure and mineral diversity, and moisture retention dropped quickly during hot days. Yields were better than chemical fertilizer soil, but still not impressive. The third soil method was a traditional topsoil and manure blend. This mix was made using 2 parts garden topsoil to 1 part aged cow manure. At first, this soil performed well, especially for leafy greens. The soil held moisture better and had decent microbial activity. However, after heavy watering or rain, the beds became dense and oxygen levels dropped. Root crops struggled, and tomatoes showed signs of nutrient imbalance halfway through the season. This method works, but it requires frequent correction and careful watering. The fourth soil method was a popular commercial potting mix, the kind sold in bags at garden centres. This mix drained extremely well and made transplanting easy. Seedlings established quickly, but by week 6, nutrient depletion became quite obvious. Even with supplemental feeding, the soil dried out too fast and required constant attention. This method might work for containers, but in open beds, it was inefficient and costly. The fifth soil method, and the one that completely dominated the rest, was a biologically active living soil built with intention. This soil combined structure, nutrition, and microbial life in a way none of the others did. The base mix was 40% garden topsoil, 30% finished compost, 20% aeration material like rice hulls or coarse sand, and 10% worm castings. To this, I added 1 cup per square meter of crushed eggshells for calcium, half a cup of wood ash for potassium, and a handful of biochar pre-soaked in compost tea. This soil didn't just grow plants, it supported them from seedling to harvest without stress. Root systems were massive, white and healthy. Water infiltration was perfect, holding moisture without becoming waterlogged. Plants flowered earlier, set more fruit, and continued producing longer into the season. Tomatoes produced thicker stems and deeper green leaves, without excessive vegetative growth. Leafy greens regenerated faster after harvest. Even pest pressure was lower, which is a strong indicator of balanced soil biology. You see, what made this soil truly dominate was not just one single ingredient, but rather how all the ingredients worked together in harmony. The compost, it fed the microbes, while the aeration materials ensured a steady flow of oxygen. Then the worm castings, they delivered nutrients that plants could readily absorb, and the minerals, well, they prevented any deficiencies before they even had a chance to appear. Most importantly, this soil didn't just hold its ground. It improved over time instead of breaking down. Now, to apply this method in your own garden, you'll want to start by measuring the volume of your garden bed. For a standard 1 metre by 1 metre bed at 30 centimetres deep, you'll be looking at needing roughly 300 litres of soil. Here's how you mix it. 120 litres of topsoil, 90 litres of compost, 60 litres of aeration material, and 30 litres of worm castings. Make sure to blend it thoroughly before you start planting. Then water deeply just once, and mulch the surface with straw or dry leaves. This will help protect the microbial life you see. If you already have soil in place, you don't need to remove it. Top dress with about 5 centimeters of compost mixed with worm castings at a ratio of 3:1, then, just gently scratch it into the surface. Add minerals gradually, never all at once. Living soil rewards patience and consistency, not force. The biggest lesson from this test is that soil is not just a growing medium, it is actually a living system. When you stop feeding plants and start feeding soil, well, everything changes. You water less, fertilize less, and honestly, you harvest more. That's why this method dominated all others. If this guide helped you rethink your soil, make sure you subscribe to Evergreen Garden. Share this video with a fellow gardener and leave a comment below telling me which soil method you want tested next. Healthy soil grows unstoppable gardens, and this channel is here to help you build it season after season.